Life has a curious way of teaching us its greatest lessons. Convinced that if we just push harder, that the instant you stop forcing, it's about knowing where your real strength lies, and not wasting energy fighting facts. What you can actually shape, and releasing the rest. Because if you're always stressed, this isn't just another motivational video. You'll leave with a whole new view on getting. It takes 1 second, but helps more people find this content. Hoping a relationship works. But what actually happens? That's the trap, he said. Don't demand that things happen as you wish. Your mindset, and let the rest go. We map out our existence in tiny steps. But what if I told you the exact opposite works better? This isn't about quitting. He realized that struggling against things outside our control only brings more pain. That's exactly what we're exploring today. Feeling like nothing goes right, no matter what you do, there's a reason. This goes deeper. How to live with genuine confidence. What you want without desperately chasing it. Tap subscribe. Let's get into it. Worrying if our hard work will pay off. The more we cling to a specific result, the more anxious we get. The Stoics knew this well, but from our attachment to how we want events to turn out, and you'll be at peace. The perfect moment. How people react, the more annoyed and drained we feel. Everything will eventually fall into place. Life starts moving smoothly on its own. Marcus Aurelius wrote about accepting. The real fight is always inside. A shift in perspective that can change how you chase success. You might be gripping too tightly to things. Move through life with calm certainty instead of worry and irritation. Before we begin, one small free favor. Number 1, release attachment to results. We tell ourselves that working a bit harder, the journey stops feeling good. Epictetus taught that our suffering doesn't come from events. In other words, instead of tying your joy to a fixed outcome, the harder we try to manage every small detail, the results. Never ease up and hold on tight. Stop clinging and begin trusting. The Stoics figured out this way of thinking centuries back. What comes naturally? Training your mind to focus on, handle relationships, and even protect your inner peace that were never meant to be controlled in the first place. And trust me, if you stay till the end, if you like what we do here, we waste so much time obsessing over outcomes, waiting for that job call. Pushing a bit more will force things our way. And our happiness depends entirely on something we can't fully control. Wish instead that they happen as they do happen. Focus on the process, your effort, your discipline. Think of an artist creating a painting, worrying what others think. They'll never enter a creative flow. Something magical happens. The work becomes easy. The same rule applies to everything. Work, love, personal growth. You free yourself to enjoy the path. Ever seen someone try way too hard to impress another person? And what happens? But someone who is confident and not obsessed with a certain outcome naturally attracts others. They trust that whatever is meant to happen will. Now think about success. They've failed. Earned this much, marry by then. And when things go off plan, they spiral into self-doubt. It's full of twists, failures, and surprise chances. You might miss a better one. Life is trying to send your way. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to too tightly? Now imagine releasing that grip, not giving up. That's detachment. It means you stop needing things to go a certain way, to feel okay.com first. Remind yourself each day that outcomes are not yours to control. Second, change your inner sentence. Say, I trust whatever happens will help me grow. The more you live in now, the less power the future has over you. Number 2, take command of your mindset. Some days everything flows perfectly. The difference between people who break under pressure isn't luck, it's mindset. And if you don't learn to master your mind will master you. Other people's actions. Sudden problems, but you can control how you respond. When you shift from reacting to responding, everything changes. If they obsess over every perfect stroke, but when they let go of the final product and just enjoy the act of painting, they get fully lost in the moment. And, ironically, that's when their best art comes out. When you stop fixating on exactly how things must end, especially in relationships, their energy feels needy, desperate, forced. It scares people away. Comfortable with themselves. Why? Because they aren't ruled by fear. That's the power of letting go. So many people believe that if they don't hit a specific goal by a certain age, they treat life like a rigid checklist. Graduate by this age. Reach this level. But here's the truth. Success is never a straight line. If you're too attached to one outcome, take a moment. What goal, expectation, or result is causing me stress? But trusting that whatever happens, you'll be fine. It doesn't mean you stop caring. So how do you practice this daily? You only control your effort, discipline, and mindset. Instead of, I need this to happen, finally, stay in the present. Life throws constant challenges at us. Other days, it feels like the world is against you. And those who thrive, how you think shapes how you experience life. You can't always control what happens around you, the economy. That's where real power lives. Psychologist William James, the father of modern psychology, once said, "The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another." That's exactly what the Stoics taught. You don't have to believe every thought that pops into your head. You don't have to let every hard moment define you. Instead, train yourself to reframe situations, step back, and see them from a new angle. Here's an example. Imagine you're struggling at work. You keep making errors. Your boss is constantly watching. You feel like you're failing. One way to see it is, I'm terrible at this. I'll never improve. Maybe I'm just not good enough. That's a fixed mindset. It locks you in. But what if you changed that thought? What if you said instead, I'm learning. Every mistake teaches me something. This pressure is helping me grow. That's a growth mindset, and it turns struggles into stepping stones. The Stoics believed every challenge is a chance to practice virtue, patience, resilience, wisdom. Seneca once said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Every setback, every moment of frustration is actually training you to get stronger. Like lifting weights, if you never push, you never gain strength. Same for your mind. But let's be real. Mastering your mindset doesn't happen overnight. It takes daily practice. One simple way to start. Watch your inner voice. Are you constantly feeding yourself fear, doubt, and negativity? Or are you training yourself to see chances? Reframe situations. Stay calm in uncertainty. Your mind is a garden. What you plant is what grows. Plant fear and anxiety, and they'll take over. Plant strength, clarity, and resilience, and they'll grow instead. Another way to strengthen your mindset. Practice staying in the now. So much stress comes from replaying the past or worrying about the future. But the only moment you ever control is this one, right now. Next time you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, what can I do in this moment to move forward? That single question can snap you out of panic and bring you back to what matters. Number 3, have faith in life's timing. Patience is one of the hardest things to practice, especially when you're working toward something important. You've put in the effort, done everything right, and yet nothing seems to happen. It's frustrating, isn't it? The world tells us success should come fast, that if we're not seeing quick results, we're doing something wrong. But the truth is, life doesn't follow our schedule. It moves to its own rhythm, and trying to rush it often leads to letdowns. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly." Think about that. Anything truly valuable, wisdom, strength, success, takes time to grow. Just like you can't make a tree grow faster by pulling its branches. You can't force life to give you what you want before the time is right. There's an order to things. And when you learn to trust that timing, you free yourself from so much unnecessary stress. Imagine a young artist dreaming of becoming famous. They work non-stop, pouring their heart into their craft. But they don't see the recognition they want. At this point, they have two choices. They can become angry, lose faith, and quit. Or they can trust that every brushstroke, every piece of work, is preparing them for something bigger, even if they can't see it yet. Those who trust the process keep going. And eventually, they end up exactly where they're meant to be. We live in an age of instant gratification. Fast food, fast news, fast success. We've been conditioned to believe that if something doesn't happen quickly, it's not worth waiting for. But some things must take time: relationships, personal growth, learning a skill. All of these need patience. Socrates once said, "To do is to be." That means growth happens in the process, not just the final result. If you're always focused on when something will happen, you miss who you're becoming along the way. But here's the tricky part. How do you stay patient when you feel like nothing is moving? The Stoics would say, focus on what's in your control. You can't control timing, but you can control your actions. Keep showing up, keep putting in the work, keep growing. And most importantly, trust that if something is meant for you, it will come not a second early or late. One of Stoicism's greatest lessons is acceptance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. Instead of fighting life's timing, learn to embrace it. If things aren't happening as fast as you want, maybe it's because you're still becoming the person who is ready for them." Number 4. Act with intention, not desperation. Have you ever noticed that when you desperately chase something, it always seems to move farther away? Whether it's a job, a relationship, or success, the more frantic and needy your energy, the more things slip through your fingers. It's almost as if the universe senses desperation and pulls back. But when you act with intention, with calm confidence, everything starts to line up naturally. There's a powerful difference between chasing and attracting. The Stoics understood this well. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." In other words, before you act, know why you're acting. Desperate action comes from fear. Fear of missing out. Fear of failure. Fear of not being enough. But purposeful action comes from clarity and strength. When you know who you are and what you stand for, your actions become more deliberate, more grounded. Let's take an example. Imagine two people searching for a job. The first is desperate. They send applications everywhere, even for jobs they don't want. Panicking over every rejection, their energy is scattered, anxious, uncertain. The second person, however, is focused. They know their strengths. They take time to craft meaningful applications and prepare, without obsessing over immediate results. Who do you think is more likely to get hired? The one who is calm, confident, and strategic, not the one acting from fear. This applies to relationships too. If you enter a relationship out of desperation, fearing loneliness, seeking validation, it often ends in disappointment. But when you approach relationships with self-respect and confidence, you attract healthier, more fulfilling connections. People are drawn to those who are secure in themselves, not those who are grasping for attention. Aristotle spoke of eudaimonia, a state of living with purpose and fulfillment. He believed true happiness comes not from chasing external things, but from aligning your actions with your values. That's exactly what the Stoics taught. Act with wisdom, integrity, and purpose, and let outcomes take care of themselves. When you move with intention rather than panic, you start making better decisions. You stop wasting time on things that don't fit your real goals. Think of a seasoned chess player versus a beginner. The beginner reacts impulsively, making moves out of fear and uncertainty. The expert, however, plays with patience, seeing the bigger picture, making deliberate choices. Life works the same way. If you're constantly reacting to fear, you'll make choices that lead to more chaos. But if you step back, act with clarity, and trust the process, you move closer to the life you actually want. So, how do you shift from desperate action to intentional action? First, get clear on your why. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I truly want it? Or because I'm afraid of not having it? Second, slow down. Desperation rushes. Intention moves with patience. Instead of deciding from fear, give yourself time to reflect and choose wisely. Finally, trust yourself. You don't need to force things into place. When you act with confidence and alignment, opportunities naturally come your way. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." A lot of desperation comes from imagined fears. What if I don't succeed? What if I fail? But the truth is, you're stronger than you think. And you don't need to scramble for what's meant for you. Act with purpose, move with confidence, and watch how life starts to align in your favor. Number 5, surrender the need to control. Have you ever felt exhausted from trying to control everything? You plan, you push, you strategize, but somehow life still doesn't go as expected. It's frustrating, isn't it? You try to make people act a certain way, force circumstances into place, predict every possible outcome, only to end up more stressed and less in control than ever. The harder you grip, the more things slip through your fingers. But here's the paradox. The moment you let go, life starts working in your favor. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Think about that. True freedom doesn't come from controlling everything around you. It comes from letting go of the need to control. The more energy you spend trying to manage things that aren't, to manage other people's opinions, the future, the past, the more you drain yourself. But when you shift your focus to what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your responses, you reclaim your power. Take relationships, for example. Ever tried to change someone? Maybe you wanted a friend, partner, or family member to behave differently, to be more understanding, more supportive, more aligned with your hopes. But no matter how much you tried, they stayed the same. That's because people are not ours to control. We can communicate. We can set boundaries. We can choose who we let into our lives. But we can't force anyone to change. When you release that need, you free yourself from frustration and allow relationships to unfold naturally. The same goes for success. So many people believe that if they just push harder, they'll reach their goals faster. But there's a difference between effort and control. You should absolutely work toward your goals. But obsessing over every tiny detail, stressing about timing, fearing failure, that only creates resistance. Seneca once said, "Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant." When you fight against life's natural flow, you create unnecessary struggle. But when you trust the process and focus on what's in your power, things unfold much more easily. Imagine you're preparing for a big interview. You've done the research. You've practiced. You're ready. But instead of trusting your preparation, you start what if they ask me something I don't know? What if I mess up? What if I don't get the job? Now your energy shifts from confidence to anxiety. You walk in nervous, tense, second-guessing yourself. That need for control actually makes you perform worse. But if you take a deep breath, remind yourself you've done the work, and let go of the outcome, you walk in relaxed, present, and much more likely to succeed. So how do you start letting go of control? First, recognize what is and isn't within your power. The Stoics believed in the dichotomy of control. There are things we can influence, and things we can't. Wasting energy on the uncontrollable only leads to frustration. Second, practice acceptance. Life won't always go according to plan, but that doesn't mean it's going wrong. Sometimes detours lead to better destinations. Finally, build trust. Not just in life, but in yourself. Trust that you can handle whatever comes, even if it's not what you expected. Number 6. Live in an abundance mindset. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to attract success, opportunities, and even happiness effortlessly? It's not that they have some secret advantage. It's their mindset, the way they think, carry themselves, and see the world creates a reality where abundance flows to them naturally. On the other hand, people who constantly focus on what they lack seem to struggle endlessly. No matter how hard they work, it's not about luck. It's about the energy you bring to your life. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology confirmed it. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." True abundance isn't about hoarding money, collecting achievements, or endlessly chasing more. It's about realizing that you already have everything you need to live a fulfilled life. When you stop operating from a scarcity mindset, believing you never have enough, you make room for more to come to you naturally. Imagine two people walking into the same room. One is focused on everything they don't have. They compare themselves to others, feel like they're falling behind, and believe success is always out of reach. Their energy is heavy. Their words are filled with doubt, and they unknowingly repel opportunities. The second person walks in with the belief that they have enough knowledge, enough skills, enough opportunities ahead. They engage confidently, build connections naturally, and end up walking away with new possibilities. The only difference, one was living in scarcity, the other in abundance. And it's not just about money or success. It applies to relationships, happiness, and even time. If you believe there's never enough love, never enough time, never enough good people, then your mind will always look for proof of that belief. But if you shift your focus, you'll start seeing opportunities everywhere. You'll recognize kindness in others, possibilities in each moment, and the blessings already in your life. Psychologist William James once said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes." If you constantly feel like you're missing something, your brain will focus on that lack. But if you train your mind to see abundance, practice gratitude, confidence, and trust in life, you start shifting your entire reality. It's not magic. It's perception. What you focus on grows. Think of a musician with a scarcity mindset. They constantly worry there aren't enough opportunities, that the industry is too competitive, that they'll never make it. Every rejection feels like proof of their fears. So they play it safe, hesitate to take risks, and miss potential breakthroughs. Now imagine another musician who believes in abundance. They see every rejection as redirection, every challenge as a chance to improve. They take more risks, connect more openly, and eventually find success. Not because they were luckier, but because they embodied abundance instead of fear. So how do you start embodying abundance? First, start with gratitude. Instead of focusing on what's missing, focus on what's already here. When you appreciate what you have, you attract more. Second, act as if you already have enough. Move through life with confidence, knowing opportunities are everywhere. Finally, release attachment. Trust that what's meant for you will come, not through force, but through alignment with your actions and beliefs. Number 7, take aligned action, then step back. Have you ever caught yourself obsessing over a goal? Pushing harder and harder, only to feel like you're running in circles. You do everything right, follow every step, but the results don't show up as fast as you want. It's frustrating, isn't it? We've been taught that success is all about effort, never stopping, never letting go. But here's what most people don't realize. There's a difference between aligned action and desperate action. And sometimes the real key to progress is knowing when to act and when to step back. The Stoics had a deep understanding of this. Seneca once said, "Effort and patience will achieve more than force and anxiety." We live in a culture that glorifies the grind. The idea that if you just work hard enough, things have to go your way. But real success isn't about blind effort. It's about taking the right steps, staying open to opportunity, and then allowing life to unfold. The problem with forcing things is that it creates resistance. It's like pulling at a knot. The harder you yank, the tighter it becomes. Imagine you're trying to fall asleep. You can't force yourself to sleep, right? The more you try, the more restless you become. But the moment you relax, let go, and trust that sleep will come. It happens naturally. The same is true for success, relationships, and personal growth. You have to take action, yes, but you also have to trust the process. Think of a farmer planting seeds. They prepare the soil, plant the seeds, water them, make sure they get enough sunlight. But after that, they don't dig up the seeds every day, demanding they grow faster. They trust that in time, the crops will flourish. If they tried to rush the process, they'd only damage what they planted. Life works the same way. You take action, you do your part, and then you trust that things will develop at their own pace. This applies to every area of life. Take relationships, for example. Ever met someone who tried too hard? Maybe they were overly eager, texting too much, always needing reassurance. Their energy felt heavy, almost desperate. But then there's the person who is calm, confident, shows interest, but also gives space. They naturally attract others because they aren't forcing anything. That's what happens when you take aligned action and let go. You create space for things to flow instead of suffocating them. Or think about your career. Maybe you've been hustling, trying to force every opportunity, but nothing seems to move forward. What if, instead of panicking, you trusted that your work was enough? What if you focused on being excellent at what you do, building meaningful connections, and allowing the right doors to open when they're meant to? This doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you stop trying to control every outcome. You take smart, purposeful action and then trust that what's meant for you will come. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Do what you must, and let what happens, happen." That's the essence of aligned action. You focus on what's in your control, your efforts, your discipline, your mindset, but you don't obsess over the results. Because no matter how much you plan, no matter how hard you push, there will always be things outside your control. And the more you resist that truth, the more stressed and frustrated you become. So how do you practice this daily? First, get clear on your goal and take the necessary steps. Prepare, train, learn. Do your part. Second, let go of the need to control when and how the results show up. Accept that timing isn't always up to you. Third, trust your own resilience. Even if things don't go exactly as you planned, you'll adapt, grow, and find new opportunities along the way. At the end of the day, life isn't about controlling every outcome. It's about mastering yourself. The moment you shift your focus from chasing to aligning, from forcing to flowing, everything starts to fall into place. The Stoics knew this truth centuries ago, and now it's yours to apply. So, take a deep breath. Trust the process, and remember, real power comes from within.